Greetings gamers, FiOth here, and in this weapon review we will be taking a look at the Punisher, the one handgun that gives you the ability to go through targets for both crowd control and for disarming certain devices that the Granados use throughout the game. Here the gameplay you're seeing is not the finalized version of the gun, but this was through my latest playthrough, and what I wanted to demonstrate was the destructive power when it comes to shield bearers, because you don't actually need to break the shields to deal damage to the Ganado. You can just approximate where the shot will land on the body and shoot there, so you get the full benefits of a bullet hitting the flesh of the enemy. You can go for kneecaps, you can go for headshots, and the stagger will happen as if they're not carrying protection at all. Now we move forward with a finalized version of the gun, and as demonstrated here, the gun doesn't really have much stopping power or high crit chance. Crit chance is pretty standard, and the stopping power is low because the damage is low as well, the overall power statistic. That creates a very unique situation. You have to play to these weapon strengths to actually get results out of it. Here you see an armored Ganado, and I'm not trying to hit body mass because I know that metal is not affected by my shots at all. Trying to go through metal is a fool's errand. I'm demonstrating it here again. No metal penetration whatsoever, so fighting against these steel shield bearers in the island is a no-no. What I want to underline here is that if you reach the island and you're still using the Punisher, you are not at a loss. You haven't wasted money or your time to master it for nothing. The gun still excels at one very important aspect of the game, especially if you are not using Ashley's armor and playing higher difficulty settings, where you simply don't have enough time to take out every enemy by itself, and using a shotgun is a risk because you can hit her. It allows for crowd control like this, where you hit an enemy and hit the enemies behind said enemy and stagger and damage them all at the same time. Precision doesn't have to be 100% anymore because it gives you this utility. Let's check the stats to understand where it excels and where it's weak in detail. So, what is the deal with this thing stats-wise? Let's have a look. The Punisher deals damage of 1.9, that's on the low spectrum, ammo capacity 24, very hefty, reload speed of 1.5, rate of fire 1.91, and precision of 4.5. It is extremely precise, that is one thing that we have to give it, and of course it can accept the laser sight, that makes it that much more accurate in its shots. The laser sight pretty much allows you to fire without experiencing any shot bloom, meaning you don't have to wait for the reticle to settle until you can accurately fire again. So, things that become apparent from the get-go: amazing precision, very good ammo capacity, reload speed is fine, rate of fire is fine. The department where it lacks is the power. 1.9 is extremely low. If we compare it to the Blacktail, it's a 2.4 times 1.5, and going for the Sentinel 9, it's a 1.9 but has a 5 times crit multiplier. That means very high chance of scoring crits for additional damage. What Punisher has going for it, of course, as you saw in the opening clips, is the penetration. And if you max it and get its exclusive, it will go through 5 targets. That is 1 shield and 4 bodies, or 2 shields, 3 bodies, and so on and so forth. It will not go through metallic objects like the armor of the Ganados on the island or the metal shields of the Ganados on the island. Some of the weapons that can actually block will also be unaffected, like a chainsaw or an axe. But anything that is wood will be penetrated, of course, flesh. Is this a good suggestion for higher difficulty settings? Where everything I test on professional. As you saw in both clips, in both instances, it performed, and it would be hypocritical to say that because the damage is 1.9, the gun is unusable, because we also get it on the Silver Ghost and the Sentinel. For me, it's a question of whether or not you prefer to have consistent damage like a Blacktail or the Red 9, really dominating rate of fire like the Matilda, or the utility that's brought here by the penetration power. Accuracy is a non-issue for every pistol that can accept the laser sight, because if you don't have target bloom, it means you can pinpoint fire it at all times. I'm going to demonstrate what I mean. If we take out the laser sight and fire there, as I shoot, the reticle blooms becomes bigger and thus more inaccurate. If the laser sight is on, all you need to do is ride the recoil and you will be pinpoint perfectly accurate every single time, because the gun will always shoot at the end of the laser pointer. It's simple as that. Is it a good suggestion? Is it a good gun regardless of the situation? It is fantastic for the castle section. That's what I'm going to tell you 100% with certainty, because shields will mean nothing throughout the castle section. You'll just mow those granados down, and if you can shoot kneecaps behind shields, you'll drop them to their knees. If you shoot heads behind shields, you will cause them to stagger, and then you can follow up with a melee that will disarm them from their shield, of course, and will open them up and make them like standard dudes and dudettes. The damage is lacking, so you need to go for either precise headshots to proc stagger after multiple hits, or knee shots to drop them to their knees and either go for the suplexes or the knife follow-ups or the kicks. Don't attempt to decimate the health pools of enemies with this, because it's probably not going to work. We want this here for its utility. As I said, Sentinel 9 and the Silver Ghost offer that crit chance. That crit chance doesn't only mean that you pop heads. It also means that it deals extra damage wherever. If it's a crit, it deals more damage. But with the Punisher, if you don't take advantage of what it does, you're not using a good gun. You're using a pretty underwhelming gun damage-wise. And before you ask, well, what's there to do with this, except for going through shields, guys, it's going through bodies. That's the most important aspect of it. You funnel them through corridors, you funnel them around corners as they're trying to get to you, and you go through 2, 3, 4 enemies at the same time with each bullet. That means that you don't even have to pay attention to what you're hitting in terms of crowd control, because some of them are going to get staggered, some of them are going to get hit in weak spots, and any of them that will open up a crowd controlling melee attack will allow you to manage the oncoming horde. You have to play to its strengths. It will not do the work for you like the Red 9, like shoot them in the arms and they will explode into meat chunks and die. But if you take advantage of its strengths, it's going to be a very good asset indeed. And the fact that you get it for 5 spinels very early on means that you can work with it, get accustomed to its hints, and eventually master it and be proficient with it. So, this is my review of the Punisher, one of the most interesting pistols in my opinion since the OG Resident Evil 4. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to check out my other weapon reviews. And of course, sub, like, share, and hit the notification bell if you want more content like this. I'll start you off with your suggestion. Grab this one, give it a watch, let me know what you think, discuss, and as always, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection. Cheers!